Cheers. All right. By the awkward silence in this room, I'm guessing that we're beginning.
Commencement.
How should we start this, actually?
Welcome back to the third hour. Today we have two rising singer-songwriters, Jeremy Zucker and Chelsea Cutler.
They teamed up for the single You Were Good to Me, and they're going to perform it live. But first, check out how they're both taking the music world by storm.
Jeremy Zucker.
Chelsea Cutler, everybody.
Chelsea Cutler and Jeremy Zucker.
So good. Jeremy Zucker and Chelsea Cutler. Thank you so much.
I think it's on the You Were Good to Me music video. Someone in the comments says, I can't imagine a world where Jeremy and Chelsea don't meet. I feel like I screenshotted it and sent it to you.
Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, it's crazy. If we didn't meet, like, we wouldn't have these beautiful things in the world.
Well, we just got screenshots of the first time that we ever talked on SoundCloud. I think you were like, I like your music, and I said, thanks, that means a lot, XX.
No, I did not say XX.
No, I did. It was like in that phase where like putting X's after every sentence was like...
We all just wanted to be British.
So cute.
Do you remember the day we met?
Vaguely. It's 2017. It's a gorgeous spring day. I was visiting one of my best friends from high school at UConn, but she took me to a frat darty.
Darty is a day party.
A frat darty at UConn. I'm drinking beers out of a Lily Pulitzer tumbler, and next thing I know, Jeremy Zucker is performing on a stage outside this frat house.
It was a douchey vibe on that stage, for sure. And I remember coming off stage, and you're like, hey, I'm Chelsea Cutler. And I'm like, oh my God, hi. And then I think we had a little hug and then took a picture. That was silly. That was serendipitous. And I think that's probably like when we started talking again and then planned getting together to write a song. I was working at this cabin for a week, Stone Studio, and I was like, come up, because you probably lived like so close to it.
Yeah.
And then I remember you came in and sat down and played a little lick, and I was like, what is that? And you're like, I don't know, I just made it up. And then the song just happened like that. It was crazy. After we wrote Better Off, it was pretty clear that we're good at just sitting down and making a cool song together. Not
Definitely.
More than like a cool song, like a really emotional, like deep cutting.
I think it's pretty rare to sit down with someone in a creative capacity and come up with something the very first time you work together that feels that good. I think we both knew that there was definitely like a pretty strong creative spark that was worth exploring more. What did you think was gonna happen when we went to Stone Studio for the first time?
Honestly, I was pretty like stoked and pretty confident that we were gonna make amazing music, because that's the thing, when you sit down with someone to write for the first time and you come up with something amazing, whether or not it's true, there is something special when those two people get back in a room, because all you have is like positive association. And like, I think we were both so confident and so fired up going into it, where like, I feel like we were like even cocky about it in the beginning, where we were like, yeah, like this is a layup. Do you remember how quick we wrote You Were Good to Me?
Day one.
Really?
You and I sat down. Yeah, I remember we had, it was you, me, and Steph, obviously. And I remember we were sitting at the piano and obviously like laid down that first riff. And then I remember we were kind of talking about where should the song go, or like what do we want to write about. And you and I had a really honest conversation about the ways that like we hadn't, at least for me, it was ways I hadn't shown up well in my college relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember like feeling really vulnerable and honest with you, and like feeling really comfortable to do that. good, right? What is that?
100.
Cool. Sunday night. I think my biggest struggle is that Jeremy expects more creativity and productivity out of me than I've ever expected out of myself in the entirety of my whole life.
Fucking go, Chels. I kind of want to hear the voice memo for when we started that too. Are we down for that? I feel like it's pretty, pretty like entertaining. That didn't make it in the song. Your voice is so different. What the hell? We're both singing in cursive. Oh my God.
Well. Yeah. Okay, let's eat.
When is like the moment that you knew you were good to me was doing something? Because I distinctly remember like very, very early TikTok. ESPN used it in a video and it got like millions of views and I was like, ESPN used it.
You were good to me.
Tonight, your brother, Dad,
You were good to
We didn't have a Brent world for the first Brent project at all. We were in a one-room carriage house. You slept on a futon, like with Steph maybe, and I slept on an armchair every night. We didn't have wardrobe. We didn't have any kind of idea of what it was gonna be. In the album art, I'm pretty sure I'm wearing a daddy hat and a Travis Scott shirt that says porn across it. That unintentional approach is what crafted the world of Brent.
Yeah. We were both craving to like get out of the city and put ourselves in nature and like just think about the music.
How did we come up with the name Brent?
We were driving home from Connecticut to New York and we passed a road called Brentwood Road. And then we were just calling out random things on our drive home.
Yeah.
What was the worst call out, do you think?
I think I might have said like north or something.
We wanted to call it Millerton.
We definitely floated Millerton for sure.
Millerton would have been hard.
I think I
but
liked Millerton.
A little too like crunchy.
And I definitely suggested the road name that it was on.
Sharon Road.
Yeah, something like that.
228 probably was floated.
228 Sharon.
228 Sharon Road. I definitely pushed for like Brent really hard because I kind of thought it was funny.
I need to be honest, like my recollection of it is that you were like, the three of us are in the car and you were like, what about Brent? And Steph and I go, okay. Like, I don't think we like.
It wasn't that deep.
I don't think it was deep at all. I think we were just like, this is funny.
Like, and then go into the chorus, so like, do.
Got it.
You know?
That's so funny.
Okay, let's listen to the worst song we ever made together.
The worst song we ever made together is Lonely Alone.
Oh my God, Lonely Alone.
I'm just gonna say that was your song, not my song.
I'm up all night.
That's a fire song though.
No, it's a good
I mean,
song.
it was cool when.
I swear you got the worst of me.
I have a lisp, guys. What's the worst song on Brent 2?
That's a hard one because Brent 2 is actually immaculate. It came together in a way that we did not expect at all. We thought we were gonna sit down and like grind it out for a week and write a bunch of stuff and produce the fuck out of it and like intentionally make it really good. And the universe slapped us in the face, be like, that's not how it works. You don't try really hard and write an amazing song. By the end of it, luckily it all fell into place and I got to spend a ton of time being extremely anal about the production and tweaking every little fiber and every instrument. And because of that, and obviously because of the songs and how amazing they are, it just became a project that I'm so, so proud of. Yeah. Oh my God, and the 16 millimeter footage, the way that that came together, even the music video. Yeah. We did this shoot literally just for press photos, and then I brought this like big chunky camera, and I didn't even know if it worked. I had no idea how to use it. Yeah. And I was like loading the film in the dark and like winding it up, and I did not think it was gonna work. I was guessing at the focus and the exposure and everything, and it just turned out beautiful.
I think, like, again, that's a great point that highlights that, like, so much of the magic of Brent is
serendipity.
Yeah, like just two kids messing around and having fun creatively.
These chords are so like different, but they sound so good.
They're so pretty.
Ooh. You're gonna sing it higher, right?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Ooh, I'm so sorry for
the things I do. I hope it doesn't hurt your heart, it's true. To rest your mind, 'cause I still need you too.
Making music with someone can really highlight differences and like challenge your friendship. It's like kind of like having a roommate. Like it's really hard to live with certain people and it's really hard to create consistently with certain people, but I think that our friendship has only like proven itself over the test of time to be able to go through like such highs and not lows, but obviously points where
we had lows.
Frustrated.
We had lows.
There's one day Jeremy laid on a hammock and I laid on the grass and
I was so pissed. I was so pissed. Yeah.
I was just like, why is it like
so hard?
Why doesn't this feel the same? But like also duh, of course it's not gonna feel the same. Like you guys put us in like in a state, like a nice house on a farm with like a big sterile studio.
No, it was tough. I mean, we had to literally decide not to use the studio.
Yeah.
And that was like, however much this fucking costs a day, we're gonna be like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, what made us want to do a Brent too, I guess?
Honestly, at least this is what I was thinking about when we started talking about it, was how easy the first one was and how fun it was and how good it was. Yeah. And I was like, I remember I definitely like texted this to you a couple times. I was like, imagine what we could do if we tried.
Crazy sentence.
And then lo and behold, we get in and we tried too hard.
Totally.
That was a lesson.
But we changed a lot. Like I think
we changed too much. It was definitely my idea to like get a bigger, better studio.
It was a gorgeous studio, like all due respect, absolutely stunning, really well equipped and like beautiful studio. But it's hard to find magic in a control room. Mm-hmm. You're on the computer. I'm definitely on Zillow. Like, sometimes when you're sitting in a control room, it's so silent. It's impossible
like
to think.
It's the opposite of creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Well, I was going to say the only time that we wrote songs during that first Brent 2 trip was when we were frustrated and like took a step back, cleared our heads, and then went into the live room. And I remember you were just sitting with your guitar on the ground, and I was like, what are you doing?
Needed alone time.
You are the reason I can survive. We'll turn off the phones to just be alone.
I cried every night. I got in bed and I was just like, why is this not, like the first one was so easy and so magical. Why does this feel like it's like going through a bad like year of a relationship. It was like we're so in sync, but right now we're not.
Yeah, something that feels like it should be so natural and so great is actually making it feel horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if a lot of that was my fault.
No, of course it's not your fault. I think it was just the nature of the beast. Like I think it's like the first time in a relationship that you go through like a real rough patch or something, and that's in any friendship or like relationship or working relationship. Like it's such a shock to the system because you're just so used to it feeling easy.
Yeah.
I mean, weren't you frustrated?
I was so frustrated, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like frustrated that we weren't getting anything, and then I was really frustrated at your attention span.
Yeah, totally. I don't
'Cause,
blame
like,
you at all. It's
yeah.
just, could you imagine being me? And I think we're just really different in that way. We're like creatively, I can lock in when I feel like a conduit for something. And then when I don't feel inspired, I feel like I'm going to go out of my skin.
Yeah.
And you're so focused and disciplined in a way that I'm not. But I think that works really well together when we're not agitated with each other.
Yeah, or when we understand that that's how we work.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't understand how your brain and creative mind works at that point, and I think it was especially frustrating because I thought I did, you know?
Yeah.
And it was really just we just like went through a crazy, random, magical 3-4 days the first Brent.
Well, I think something too, and poor Jesse was probably getting texts from Germ being like, Chelsea's an idiot and can't sit for more than 10 minutes. And I was probably like, I'm crying all the time. Why aren't we making good music? But I think obviously we got Emily and that felt really good, and we got Parent Song and that felt really good. But I think if you remember, there was also a moment where we sat down, and I remember I was really nervous and Jesse was like hyping me up. And I told you like something about this workflow like isn't working for me. I think we're like putting too much pressure on it. And then we wrote This Is How You Fall in Love. After that conversation, I think we both felt really liberated. For something that at times felt really challenging, we did nail it.
So I'll promise you I'll be the best thing for us. Then I'll fight with your friends and I'll trash your apartment. I'll lie to you, screaming I'd die for you, knowing how hard it'll be to get back where we started in Paris. You asked me if I was afraid that we'd fall out of love. Would that be okay?
We gotta start.
Emily. Emily.
I had like a really cool first like 4 or 5 years of my career where like everything I released was doing better than the previous thing. I had come through, and then like You Were Good to Me, and then This Is How You Fall in Love. And once those stopped being the songs that were like rising, and when things started to just do good and not better, I started to I've just always had this fear that I've lost the thing that makes me special.
I totally get that.
I wrote Come Through in my backyard, and it was so much fun. And it's such a vibey, lighthearted, but like deeply honest song. And I did not want to be fucking known for that at the time. You know, I was like feeling like I was doing all these other things that were way more honest to my personality and how I wanted to be perceived as an artist, that I resented being the like acoustic pop writer. Yeah. I didn't want to be known as the come through guy.
Yeah.
And it took me a really long time to not care whether or not I was that guy. Yeah. You know?
Candidly, on a personal level, like the last few years, I think I really struggled with wanting certain milestones in like my own individual career. There was a time where I'd look at my top tracks on Spotify and I'd be like, all 5 of these are a feature or like are a collaboration in some capacity, and like what is the importance of Chelsea Cutler? And I think I had this idea in my head that I couldn't step out of that until I like achieved certain things or like made a legacy for myself. I also think in relation to Brent too, it's so easy for your ego in a collaborative project to then look at like your individual career and be like, why does everyone care about Brent so much? All my best performing songs are Brent, like the biggest looks of my career have been Brent. And I've also been fortunate enough to have some great moments with Mike too. And I think that I've just gone through like learning the lesson that like, if my whole career is characterized by like these magic collaborations and magic friendships, awesome.
I mean, also, like, if you have all of these amazing collaborations with artists, what's the through line? You. Like, it's still you.
But it's not, but I just wasn't, like, I was too obtuse to put that together. At the end of the day, my ego can fuck off, and it's so stupid that I cared about, like, all of these things for my own career so much that I was apprehensive about, like, stepping out of that and, like, putting myself in a collaborative environment. It's just, like, you grow and you learn. It sucks that popularity is a measure of success. Totally. It shouldn't be what is resonating on the basic level to the most people. It should be what is resonating the most. Totally. To any people. I think it's so ridiculous to like think about how other people perceive you, because it's two layers of something not existing. You're imagining how someone else is imagining you. Right. That's like what everyone's afraid of, like what other people think of them. Right. There's two layers of that not making any sense. First of all, this person is thinking they know something about you when they don't. And then you're thinking that this person is thinking something about you. And like when I realized how like, first of all, how out of your control it is to like worry about that or have that affect what you do. Like, I think that's when I stopped worrying about being the come through guy. Doing Brent 3 makes me proud of all of it, like the first two as well. But I'm really proud that it's an album and that it's 11 songs and that we went a lot of places and that it's so honest to us. And I'm really proud that we said that we were gonna do it and we sat down and we did it. And I'm really proud that it's like good. And I feel like when we did Brent 2, people were like, when's Brent 3? And we were like, are you fucking kidding? Like, slow your roll.
Yeah.
And to be clear, like my reluctance around doing a third.
We were traumatized after.
Yeah. Like it has nothing to do with like, it's not that I didn't think we'd make incredible music, obviously. For me, it was just like I felt like we captured lightning in a bottle with the first Brent EP. Then I felt like we were kind of being storm chasers with the second one. And I thought, guys, we are pushing our luck if we do this again.
The first session that we did was at Big Bear. And that just went so well. Yeah. And like we had the feeling of Brent the whole time. And we wrote I Miss You and The Government Too and A-Frame. Yeah, in like 2 or 3 days. Yeah, and it's like the same thing of like, if you have a first session with someone and you do something amazing, the second time you go in, there's gonna be magic in the air before you start anything. There was probably some nerves like going into it, but whatever was happening, like we were chill and like not thinking about it.
I think every session that we went in, we got something. Yeah. Which is crazy.
And I think the only way to do that is to go in and not expect that you're gonna get something. Yeah. I don't know. That could like come out of the chorus. You know?
Obsessed with that. Wait, dude, that's a hook. Like.
This too, like that. Tearing us apart, and the sun too.
What did you say?
Like that, we're tearing us apart, and the somethingness too.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it going. sick.
I got the chills at the end.
I have the chills right now.
Yeah. And then Government 2 was the first song that we wrote in Big Bear, and it didn't.
And the last one to finish.
It's the last one we finished. It didn't make the physical deadline for vinyl and CD.
Yeah. Sorry.
And that's okay. And it wasn't gonna be on the project. And thank God, because it's so important.
It actually literally took the longest because it was the first one that we started and the last one that we finished.
Yeah.
Almost ruined me. I'm just kidding.
Doesn't it feel so good?
No, I'm so glad that we did it.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's so beautiful. Is that the set intro?
Probably. How my lips feel on your lips. Is that such a terrible thing? Yeah. One more?
Who's gonna think of you when the day I just did 4 so you can stack them. What?
You're screaming.
I am? I'm sorry.
I would dream at the stars for keeping us apart, and the government too.
Sounded great.
Thanks.
Sexually biased, but this is not good.
I thought I would come out of Brent 3 so done. I was really scared. And what did I say? And I'll own this to you right now. I've never told you this before. Jesse, I said, I'll do it under one condition. It's 5 songs. I don't think we should do more than 5 songs. I don't think we should do more than 5 songs.
Yeah.
But I like that arc for me. Like, I could sit here and be like, I wish I was more open-minded, and I wish I was like more sweet and receptive and like present at the beginning. But like, for what? Like, I think that me going into it kind of being apprehensive and grumpy yielded like a much more interesting character development arc for me.
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah.
I just struggled horribly with over the summer trying to wrap the project up just because of what was going on in my personal life. There were times I was sitting on the floor of your garage and you needed more from me, and
Oh, that was frustrating.
needed to go home.
I forgot about that.
We needed to finish vocals, and I couldn't exist for more than 20 minutes without crying, and I snapped and I bought a red eye home. That was tricky, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It was...
It happened. Shit happens to all of us. You know?
Yeah.
But we made it through. We made it through.
Baby, just let it go and breathe. You're gonna be fine. You're doing alright, baby. Just breathe. You're gonna be fine. You're doing alright, baby.
Someone just asked us in an interview the other day what, like, Brent 3 feels like a collection of stories, and we can get into this later, but they were like, what's the through line? And I was like, I think the through line is that these are, and vignette, you said is a great word, but like, these are little vignettes of conversations that 2 friends have about real things in their lives. If you could go back and change anything, is there anything that you would change?
I would have been easier on you during Brent 2, and easier on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You deserve compassion. It should be known and like highlighted, I think, that like obviously the songwriting is so collaborative, but I think it's important that you let yourself sit with like how much you've carried like shaping the sonic world of Brent. Like you really have single-handedly and of course with like the help of Tom on this last record, like you've really brought the songs to life.
Thanks,
and
Chels.
that's important.
Came here tonight, and I looked in your eyes.
I feel like that's enough. Okay. Should I put the effect back on?
Yes, please. I like it.
Stop such a terrible feeling. Crying tears flowing, crying. All my clothes hang on your shoulders. Now my lips feel on your lips. Stop such a terrible thing.
Brent 3, it just felt like third time's the charm, and especially for it to be an album, last one, best one, we're giving it our all. And then part of me is like, okay, how much is the potential success of it gonna like affect how we look at it?
We've had so much unexpected success with this, and what if we do it again and like we fight or we can't get the music right or we fall on our face and no one cares. Obviously we've kind of gone into doing Brent 3 and the Brent Forever tour with the perspective that we're kind of tying a bow on Brent.
3 is a good number, and I think we could have done Brent and just left it at that, but when we did Brent 2, I think that definitely like opened up the potential for a third. And I mean, like Shrek 4 was horrible.
Was there a Shrek 4?
I think so. I think they did like 5.
Really?
Don't quote me, but I don't know. When something is limited or only happening for a certain amount of time, it's more special. What do they say? All good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
And I think if we like kept doing these every like year or two, they would lose their luster, and maybe we would be less passionate about it. And I think there's something to be said about like endings, you know? Endings are beginnings.
You know, I've said this like a few times. I don't know where you land with it. I love the idea that we can close the door on it. And
knowing that we can open it.
It's totally like in our hands if in some amount of time we want to go back.
Good Things is one of my favorite songs for that reason, because, I mean, it's devastating, but it's the end of the song when it just explodes with the strings and the drums. It feels like the end of a movie or grand finale, like fireworks, and not necessarily in like a happy way or a sad way, and this bittersweet, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened kind of way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It feels like a lot of emotions at once, which is kind of how life feels.
Good things never stay.